Hey guys, today I'm going to be making a recipe we've never made before, so it'll be different and new and we'll learn together. These are called cherry chews, and I'm going to make just the base of it first and then I'll do the topping next. So for the base, or the crust I guess you'd want to say, we need 1 cup of flour, we need 1 cup of rolled oats, we just use these quick oats right here, 1 cup of brown sugar, so it takes quite a bit of brown sugar, a teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/2 cup or stick of butter. So basically all we're going to do is mix this all together. So I'm going to put the dry ingredients in first. And I got a big bowl. My oven is preheating to 350, and so it's ready to go. It's actually already preheated to 350. And literally you just pour it all together. You'll also need a 13 by 9.5 inch baking pan. Like we call this our lasagna pan, but it's just a baking pan. You could probably use a cake pan too. And I forgot to get a spoon out, so let me get a spoon. Get my spoon that I like. Where's the spoon that I like? This spoon has been in the family for many years. So I'm just kind of mix these dry ingredients up first to kind of get them distributed evenly. And then I'll add the butter. This should be like a crumbly mixture. It kind of seems like it's going to be like a graham cracker crust, you know, kind of like it's going to be mostly dry, but it's going to be wet enough, just wet enough to press into the bottom. That's what I'm kind of thinking it'll be like. So break up the big hunks of stuff. And the butter I put in the microwave. It's not completely melted, but it's pretty soft. I'm wondering if I shouldn't went ahead and melted that completely. I'll tell you what, let me go ahead and melt this the rest of the way because it's not going to mix it with this if I don't melt it. All right, I got my butter mostly melted. I'll just do it in the microwave. I'll just do it for 10 seconds at a time. Okay, so I'm just going to mix this up until it's crumbly. Like I said, I'm expecting it to be similar to a graham cracker crust where it's dry but not completely dry. Now we're going to take this and press it into the bottom of this 13 by 9 inch pan. I did not grease the pan, but looking at this, I can't imagine this sticking either. Okay, so I'm gonna get this in the oven for 10 minutes, and I'm gonna start on my topping while this is in the oven, so I'll be right back. Hey, while that's been baking, we got other stuff out. This is after the 10 minutes, literally just pulled it out, so it's very hot still. So what you need for the topping, basically, you need a cup of brown sugar. This is all kind of mixed together, but it's a 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. You need 2 tablespoons of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Then we need a cup of coconut. I forgot the 2 eggs. 2 eggs, I just beat them up. 1 cup of well-drained maraschino cherries, and I cut them in half, so they're slices, they're halves. And then a 1/2 cup of just pecan halves. And that's the very last thing. So pretty much everything goes in the bowl except the pecans. And again, I'm gonna take my dry stuff first and mix it all together first. I'll wait for that until I put the eggs in there. And the coconut. Can I get this going? Because the cherries are solid, but they're wet, so I'm afraid they'll get clumps in there. Break up your coconut if you get hunks like that. And you can notice, or you might have noticed, I'm just using the same bowl I used to make the first half, the crust. Okay, so I'm gonna make me a little hole in the middle, and I'm gonna dump my eggs in here. Almond extract. That smells good. And the cherries. And it's supposed to be a cup. What we did was that is just a jar of maraschino cherries. You found it in the fruit aisle, like the canned fruit. That's where we found it at. And just mix this up really good. Okay, now you take this basically and pour it over the mixture. Okay, just spread this out a little bit. It's not a very thick layer, I can tell you that much. And it's very thin. you want to sprinkle your pecan halves on top. So I'm gonna get this in the oven once I get all these pecans on here, and it's gonna bake for 25 minutes at 350, just leave it at the same temperature it was. And then when it comes out, we are gonna let it cool off for just a little bit, just enough to make it get a little solidified. And then we're gonna cut it and we're gonna dip them in powdered sugar. So have some powdered sugar on hand as well, just to pretty them up a little bit, make them look really nice. So I'm gonna get this in the oven once I get these all on here, and I'll be back. Okay, here it is out of the oven after 25 minutes. It is jiggly, you see it moving. So it's gonna have to cool quite a bit before you can cut it. It smells really good though. You get those oats and you get that cherry smell, and there's something else too. Probably the almonds or something. There's something there. Tammy thinks it's the almonds. So it smells really good, looks really cool, but it's gonna have to cool off completely before we're gonna do it. So we'll be back when we're ready to cut them. Okay, they've sit for a while and they've cooled off some, and Tammy's going to attempt to cut these into bar form. I did take a knife and run around the edges just to kind of break it away from the edges, but now we're going to cut it into pieces. We have a powdered sugar in a bowl over there, and we have a spatula ready to try to dig these out. So we'll see how firm they are. They seem a little soft to me when I was kind of going around the edge.
I think we ought to put them in the refrigerator for a little while.
That's fine.
To see if they firm up. What do you think?
Oh, they're pretty runny, so I'm not feeling it. So.
Yeah, they're still wet. They feel wet to me.
So what we're going to do, since she's cutting them, they're pretty moist and wet. So we're going to actually stick these in the refrigerator and let them cool off completely. Then we'll dip them in the powdered sugar. So they're cut. They should be fine as already cut, and then we'll be back. We actually ended up putting them in the freezer because we thought that would go a little faster. But Tammy's just now kind of breaking them loose. You knife again?
You know the first one to come out is always
the ugly one.
The hardest. Just pull it. There we go.
Yeah. And once you can kind of get that edge broken for you. So we're just going to use our hands. We got a 10 here. We're going to put them in a 10.
The ones, where I got this idea, because most of the cherry chews online, all the recipes that I found had icing. Like you did exactly the same steps that we did, except when you got to this point, you made an icing and you covered them in icing. I got this idea from one of our local bakeries, and they sell cherry chews and they coat theirs in powdered sugar. And I just think it makes it look really pretty. It looks like snow. It looks like more of a Christmas dessert to me. And so that's why I told Kevin, I said, let's not do the icing, let's use powdered sugar. So I'm gonna continue to do this. You can see I'm just putting them in a tin. And you don't have to store them in the refrigerator or anything like that. I'm just gonna store them in this tin. And but in just a second, after I finish covering all these, Kevin and I will actually try one for you. So we have some. Kevin's ready. I'm wondering if you're going to be able to pick it up or if you need a fork. Okay.
Looks like you're able to pick it up. Do you want to share one, or you want the whole thing?
Mmm.
You want the whole thing, or you want to share? You can eat the whole thing. I want the edge.
That is delicious. You get the almond extract. You only use like 1/4 of a teaspoon or something.
It's so strong.
Not much. But you can really taste that. But you get the flavor of the cherry. You get the pecans. I love the powdered sugar. I love the oats.
Those are really good. I feel like I have powdered sugar all over my mouth.
You don't.
Those are really good. They've got a, they literally have a chewy texture. They got a good cherry flavor. The oats come through. The crust, I was worried about falling apart, and it doesn't fall apart. Now the center ones were a little softer than the ones on the outside. I do have to say that.
Right.
Maybe they could have baked another 5 minutes, maybe, and do 30 minutes instead of 25. that may have firmed them up a little bit more in the center. They're still not bad. They still came out good to where, I think you ate a center one, didn't you? And it still held together. I know this one's from the center. No, that's from an edge. She had a center one, and it held together.
It was fine.
And it is a little softer. And it does want to kind of droop down and fall down, but it's not in a bad way. It's really good. I love the texture of these.
I would make these every year.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I love it. Do you like the flavor of it?
I do.
Not too much almond for you, because you're funny about the almond.
No, these are really light. And there's so many other flavors that you really don't need. The powdered sugar, it looks pretty. I don't know if you really needed it though. I don't know. It sweetens it up a lot.
Just imagine if you made it like the original recipe with the glaze.
That'd be so sweet.
Because the original recipes for these cherry chews calls for a glaze. You make a glaze out of powdered sugar and stuff, and you add like a little food coloring to it to turn it like a pink. So you have the bars on the bottom, and then the glaze is like a pinky color. I like them like this.
Well.
And I know it's kind of messy, but it does make it look like snow.
And you could eat with a fork.
You could. I would eat those. I'm telling you.
They're very, very good.
We have to make these now.
We'll make them again.
Yeah. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. You can tell that we really...
Yeah, we devoured the 2 pieces we had. We'll duel it out for this one.
Yeah. So thanks for watching.